Let's do it. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Indie Author Live show. Today, I have with me an incredible fellow Aussie indie author and a friend of the show, Jess McFarlane. Yay, thank you, Jess, for being here.
Hey, thanks for having me again.
Of course, it is an honor. And so, in this episode, we're going to discuss some of the common stereotypes around self-publishing, and we're going to critique some of the perceptions around what goes on in the indie author world. Also, we will be discussing more about Jess's upcoming writing projects. So, I am so excited to get into this, Jess. Thank you so much for coming back onto the show. I am so thrilled to have you here. So, thank you.
Of course, I'm thrilled to be here. Thanks for having me again.
Oh,
I'm
it's
very
a
excited
pleasure. Oh, I love what
to
you're
discuss
doing with
this.
everything that I see online in regards to not only your writing and your marketing of your books, but also when you share your 2 cents around ideas that you have with this author world that we inhabit, because there are a lot of hot topics around being a self-published author, because it is a unique kind of space where we're a community. Like, these are just my thoughts that I've been, sitting and philosophizing over the last
Yeah.
couple of weeks, thinking about like how we are as a community so united on certain things, but then so divided on others, and also
Mm.
the perception of what other people have about indie authors themselves. So I'm always interested in getting into the nitty-gritty about those topics. So I will share my screen with you if that's
Hmm.
okay. I will read out the particular section that I've highlighted here, and I would love for you to share your thoughts around this particular perspective. So, this is an excerpt from a Substack blog that I came across because I love Substack, and this is
Mm.
where usually I will post, well, that's where I began posting my indie author life stuff onto. So
Yeah.
Substack is great because it really is like a enhanced kind of like blog spot for people to share their thoughts. And I thought this particular piece of writing was interesting because it kind of relates to a lot of misconceptions that people that aren't indie authors perhaps have about indie authors. So it's a Substack article written by, I'm sorry if I'm going to butcher the name, Enfant Terrible. I will make sure to link this in the description. But I'll read out the paragraph that I've got highlighted here, which is as follows. One of the assumptions, I am guessing, is that someone who self-publishes must have failed to get an agent and a book deal, that their book wasn't good enough to really make it, and that's in quotes, and therefore was only self-published. Self-publishing is seen by many as a scourge, a blob of bad books diluting the good ones in a formless mass. Reviewers will refuse to review, literary prizes will refuse to consider, and so on and so forth. So, from that scathing paragraph. But I will say that the entire article is in like pro is pro indie authors,
Yeah, process.
and
Yeah.
yeah, and is just talking about assumptions in regards to it.
Mm.
So I'm wondering what your immediate reaction or feeling to that paragraph was, Jess.
Um, I think it's like a bit of like exasperation because it's your age-old opinion that we've heard 1,000 times over.
Yeah,
And yeah, I mean like I
absolutely. Yeah.
I I myself have never really given it like power over me, if that makes sense, and like put
Yes.
energy towards it because it's just like I think if you do that, you believe it
Yeah,
almost to a point.
absolutely. Yes.
And I think it's better off just sort of like shrugging that sort of stuff off because
Yeah.
it's not true. Um,
Hmm.
and of course, there are like, you know, self-published books out there that I guess maybe give us a bad name because they're written by AI or, you know,
Yes.
whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And so people see those and with their AI covers and they're like, oh, all self-published books are
Mm.
just crap spewed
Yeah.
out from a machine sort of thing.
Yep.
So I think, yeah, like sure, that side of self-publishing, because anyone can literally do it
Yeah.
through, Amazon or Ingram or
Mm.
whatever you're using. Sure, there's always going to be a bad side to it because there's always a bad side to everything.
Yes.
But to say that someone who has written a book that, couldn't get a traditional deal or didn't bother to try and get a traditional deal because they wanted to try self-publishing because they wanted that power
Yes.
and that control over their work that they care so much about, to say that, they haven't made it or they're not good enough or they're not a good writer because they weren't published by one of the big five
Mm.
is ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
And it is something that we need to sort of like deal with, like on top of everything else, because like it's such a hard,
Add that
it
to the
is like
list.
one of the hardest things I've ever been through. And like,
Yeah.
it's so crazy because like the more you care about it, the harder that it is. And as we know, like all of us indie authors, we care about this so much. Like it is our passion. Whether we've been writing for a year or several years, however many books we have out, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It is something that means so much to us. So I think when, you know, I'm going to speak from like, I guess my own experience, but I've
Definitely.
never really experienced something that breaks my heart and fills my heart at the exact same time.
Yes, because you are that invested into it. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like there's so many fulfilling parts of doing this, but there's also so many heartbreaking parts of doing this. So like it's a flip of a coin every single day on how you're going to feel about self-publishing. And I speak for everyone here, and I know I do because I've seen it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we sometimes consider quitting because
Yes.
it's too much. It's so like financially, emotionally, mentally, like it's a lot.
It's a lot.
So when there's opinions like these,
Mm.
it's very harmful
Yes.
because we go through the absolute ringer.
Hmm.
And yeah, I think that's why I try to not pay it mind because it's just gonna make I've already got enough to worry about. So like it's just gonna make it that much more harder
Yeah.
on me. So
Yeah.
I'm picking my battles.
Yeah.
This isn't the battle I'm picking
That's right.
but yeah, it's always gonna be
Yeah.
an opinion because
That's it.
people have opinions and
Yeah.
people like to,
They do.
crap all over
They
someone just
do.
trying to make it. And it's always gonna happen.
That's right.
Um, but I mean, yeah, when we look at the traditional publishing and the big five, this may
Mm.
be a controversial opinion, but
Mm.
I really think they're going for quantity over quality. They're
Yep.
going for what's hot at the moment. They're
That's
looking
right.
at trends. They're looking at, you know, tropes that are popular.
Yep.
And a lot of the times they're like it doesn't matter. And I think like
No,
um
there's lack of
this
passion there.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
like also this opinion doesn't really have much substance to it when we're seeing indie authors getting picked up by traditional publishing houses
Yep.
because it's like okay well they were an indie author and they're
Yeah.
obviously good enough to be traditionally published because they've just been picked up.
Yes.
So where does this
Mm.
opinion have a line?
That's
Like
right. And it's interesting that you say when you phrased that just then, good enough to be picked
mm,
up by
yeah,
a traditional publisher. I think that does lead into a stereotype where people will assume that only the cream of the crop will
yeah,
get chosen by traditional publishing. And
yeah,
sure, yeah, that makes a lot of sense with how traditional publishers will want to ensure assuming that they want to
Mm,
ensure that they choose the best from what they can find out there to make money. I feel like that is the
absolutely.
ultimate gain.
That
Game.
is the
Yeah.
100%. It's always about numbers.
Yes.
Um, and so it doesn't
Mm.
really matter what the content of the book is if
Mm.
that indie author has incredible marketing skills, which good on them, like
Good on them.
genuinely, because that's the hardest part.
Yes.
If they've got those marketing skills and that following to back them up,
Yeah.
that's all a traditional publishing house is really looking at.
Yeah,
So,
that's
because they look
right.
at it and they go, oh, this is an easy sale. This is easy money.
Easy
So,
money in an industry that is probably struggling from what I have
yeah,
read. It's an
absolutely, it
industry.
is.
Yeah. And
Think it's because
yeah,
they're focusing on the wrong things.
that's
You
right.
know, I probably sound like a
No, this
scorned
is from
writer
the
when I'm
heart.
talking about traditional publishers, but
I
like
get it. I get it.
I
Mm.
I don't think like many people would disagree with me.
Yeah, yes, I am with you
Because
100% of the way because it does feel like there is because as you said in your what you just said before about the accessibility part of it, where like yes, anyone can upload their manuscript
yeah.
onto Kindle or Ingram and call it a day, hypothetically.
Hmm.
But there is a
Yeah.
lot of marketing control that comes from indie publishing that can push it out there and arguably do maybe even better than
Mm.
traditional publishing.
Yeah, so with indie authors doing really, really well, they've been approached by, traditional publishing houses and they've rejected it because they're like, no, I have more control over my work.
Yeah.
I'm making good enough money to, be able to live off this. Why
Why
would
would you
I?
do that?
And I think that's like
Yeah.
a valid choice.
Yeah.
And if I was ever approached by a traditional publishing house, I would absolutely consider rejecting it because, like,
Yes.
if I was doing really, really well,
Yeah.
because
There's a
you're,
financial kind of like
there is
padding that traditional
absolutely.
publish can offer. But yes, sorry, as you were saying, you would consider
Well,
rejecting.
yeah, because it's sort of like if you're making enough money a year just from self-publishing and, you were having fun with it and it was like your own little business, then I mean, you know, it's
It's a
why
no-brainer.
would you?
Why
But
would you? Yeah.
but
Mm.
I mean, yeah, obviously it depends on what the offer is and everything, but I think the only benefit in comparison, like when we weigh them both up, is finances, obviously, because you get your
Like
payout
yes, you get your advance and
at your
then
advance, yeah,
the royalties are only when you, depending on what it
when you earn
is.
it.
Yeah, when you
Yeah,
earn it.
when you earn
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
Mm.
So like financially, yeah, you get a really nice lump sum at the start.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
So sure. And your books are available all over the world and in like stores and stuff.
Yeah,
Which obviously when you're an indie author, you'll only have that if you go into a store and say, "Hey, will you stock my
that's
book?"
right.
And a lot
Yeah.
of the times, if you're going into like Australia, Big W, Target, Kmart, they're gonna say no because it doesn't work like that. But that's a
There's
cool benefit. But that's about
Mhm.
it
That's
because
about it. Yeah.
from what I've seen, like, yeah, they put money into marketing, but a lot of the time, it's still up to the author to
That's
market
right.
their
It
book.
is. I had that discussion with my sister yesterday because she's in marketing. And I was talking to her about like how marketing is your products and books and stuff. Even if you are, as you just said, traditionally published, it is not a set and forget kind of situation. People, and I wrongly assumed that as well, like when I was dreaming of, maybe
Yeah.
traditionally being picked up, I would go, yeah. I get my book out and then it does the work itself, people will
Yeah.
pick it up and go like
Yeah.
that. No, it doesn't. And it would never even happen in a traditionally published sense as well, because
Yeah.
it is in their best interest to keep publishing, sorry, keep marketing the book. But as you said before, the responsibility falls on the author. You've got
Yeah.
to do the work in that
Yeah.
regards too. So we're both doing that.
Yeah,
Self-published
exactly.
and
We're
traditional.
already doing that. We already have control over that. I
Yeah.
think a lot of the times, like as well, like when you're an author, a lot of your marketing is literally like yourself as a person,
Yeah.
which is hard.
It's
It's very,
very
very hard
hard.
because,
Oh,
like, if you're an introvert like me, or if you're autistic like me, like
yep.
it's like
It's really
hard.
hard. It
Yeah,
feels unnatural.
it does. It is.
It is. It is
Like it
actually.
is.
It's so
Because like,
parasocial.
yeah.
You
But
open yourself up.
you do. And
Mm.
it is such a vulnerable experience. And like
Yeah.
I was saying before, like when you care, the more you care about it, the more it hurts. And obviously
Yes.
we care about this so much. So it does hurt a lot when, things don't go the way that you planned or
Yep. So
yeah,
interesting.
it's very hard.
It is really putting yourself out there. And I don't think we talk enough about the mental load that it takes to
Mm,
be in a world that is the social media world, where it originally was marketed as a fun sort of way to connect with people. But when it turns into a place where you have to market yourself and still be part of this fun, connected world, but sometimes you don't often feel like that, or you
mm,
feel the pressure to keep yelling into the void, buy my
yeah,
book.
yeah,
And it gets really draining because when
yeah.
perhaps it's not as received in the way that you expect it to, the automatic feeling is, oh, it's a reflection on me. I'm
Mm,
not relevant. I'm not being perceived in a good light. When really, I feel like this is such a universally shared opinion across
mm.
every single indie author, where we just
Yeah.
want to like shake each other and say, no, you are valued. I love
Yes.
you. I'm always clicking like, I'm always sharing,
Yeah.
I'm always that. And it's that dichotomy because we do want to look after each other, but it's really hard to look after ourselves and pick
Yeah.
ourselves up from that.
Yeah.
I feel
I
you
mean, it's
there.
like that funny like um thing that the people sort of like turn into a meme where it's like, you're you're supporting your friend because they're feeling bad about themselves and you're like,
Yeah,
no. And then you look at yourself in the
no.
mirror and you're like, not you.
Yeah,
This doesn't apply to
I gotta find that meme.
you.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fine. We can, and it's just so easy. I think that we feel like, oh, it's so easy to speak kindly about other people. But yeah, it is so easy for us to be self-deprecating. But we would never, ever, ever say that to other people. God, I feel like I'm in a therapist session here.
Yeah.
Because I know that like it's so easy for us to
Uh,
talk badly about ourselves. But one thing I will say about the self-publishing community that I referenced before is that we are all there for each other, I feel.
mm,
Like, of course, sometimes there are disagreements and we don't all agree on the same thing. But this community, where I found you in particular, and we found each other and we have made this friendship, like we wouldn't have been probably been able to do that through traditional publishing as well. And
yeah. No.
probably wouldn't have happened if I didn't go on to Instagram and seen your amazing graphics that you were putting up and marketing about Woman of Wolves. And I was like, who is this girl? I need to follow. Oh my God. So that is a big, big,
Uh,
big plus to self-publishing and indie authors within the
yeah.
community. I had a thought about, I'm wondering if you remember something that's been going on, some bit of tea that's been going around about an indie author who had 6,000 sales for her debut novel.
Yes.
Yeah, you've heard about that,
Yes.
right? 1,000
I did
sales.
look her up on TikTok because I wanted to know what was going on.
Yeah.
So I might have it. Audra Winter.
Audra Winter,
So she's
because
Audra Writes on
Audra
TikTok.
writes on TikTok, and it's the
Yeah.
world of Guardian, Guardian,
Yeah. Guardia or something. I don't know.
Guardia. Sorry,
Yeah.
Audra, butchering this, but just quickly, yeah, I'm interested to know your thoughts around this because I was
Yeah.
fascinated about the way that she was able to market her book because it was beautiful, the illustrations that she
Mm.
had for her book. But basically, for people who might not be familiar with what's happened here is that this indie author has published her book, self-published. It's called The Age of Scorpius, and it was beautifully marketed, so much so that she was able to get 6,000 or so pre-orders, which can I just say, that is like, I can't even wrap my head
Crazy.
around.
Yeah.
That's like, it's a dream. It would be an
Mm.
absolute, like, beautiful dream to have that as a pre-order number. I can't fathom that. But
Yeah.
anyway, that she did an amazing job. But what happened was that when people did start to read it, they were a bit disappointed with the quality of the book in the sense that the plot didn't make sense. There was a lot of spelling errors in the writing, and she had misspelt her own words and made up
Mm.
words that she had put. And so, to that, a lot of people are saying, well, a common consensus will be like, this is, the perils of self-publishing, and watch out because you're going to get a dodgy book, quote unquote,
Yeah.
out of it. And I'm curious to know what your thoughts are around that, if you have any.
Yeah, well, I think people using this as a way to warn people from buying indie is extremely unfair.
Yeah,
Um,
agreed.
because
Totally.
the majority of us use editors, the majority of us proofread, the majority of us
We funnel
take
that money
take a lot of
into that
care. Yeah,
editing. Yeah.
absolutely. We spend a
Yeah.
lot. Like editing is usually, I know it is in my
Your field.
experience,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
the most
Yes,
the most expensive part
same.
um
Totally.
of publishing a book. And
Yeah.
so it should be because it's the
Yep.
most important part.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so I shout out to Laura, by the way, Hummingbird
Yes.
Editing.
Laura.
Best editor.
We love you. We love you, Laura. She's going to be like, stop
Um,
talking good about me.
yeah, probably. Yeah, I think that just makes me feel sick to the stomach because it's just like, go
Yeah.
away. Like these people are just like looking for things
They are.
to nitpick. But I mean, in terms of like the author, I do feel really bad for her.
Yeah,
Um,
same.
because she did an incredible job to get that many pre-orders. Like, good on her. That's amazing.
It's really
Um,
rare to get that many that's just
yeah.
like just a shout out to, well, a bit of a disclaimer. Getting 6,000 pre-orders is something that
It's like unheard
it
of.
is unheard of. This is an
Yeah.
incredible feat that Audra
Yeah.
has done. So, yeah, sorry.
100%.
Keep going what you were saying.
Um, no, yeah, I do feel like she probably felt some pressure because
Yeah.
she was getting a big following. She
Yeah.
probably felt pressure to just get it out. So I want to say maybe she felt the need to skip some steps. I'm not
Yeah.
sure because I will never know, and I don't know enough about what happened.
Yeah.
And I think that is like a really big mistake that we can make sometimes.
I'm so with you
Um, but yeah, like it sucks, but like it is also a really good example of like how hard we have it, sort of thing.
there. It's unfair.
'Cause, yeah. If you're
Yeah.
not getting something, if you're not getting one thing right, if you're getting something,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
you know
It
what I'm
just
saying. You're picking up what I'm putting down.
there is a lot more criticism that's easily thrown at self-published authors because there seems
Yeah.
to be a perception that there's a lack of backing from a big authority of a traditional
Yeah, exactly.
publish, you
Yeah.
know, and therefore people will feel like more, that's why they didn't get their book edited. And that's
Yeah.
because they're a self-published author, and that's why it's crap. And can I just say, I feel that looking at like the Goodreads reviews, where currently I think she's on like a 2-star rating and things like that.
Mm.
Personally, I feel that there is a bit of a jumping on the bandwagon kind of thing there and
Oh,
go,
there always is. There
yeah,
always is.
like
The
if you're really
pitchforks
going to
coming
be,
out.
that's right.
Yeah.
People are just going to hate because it's fun to do.
Yeah,
So,
it's very unfair.
and I think
Yeah.
Audra will, I'm hoping that this doesn't detract her from pursuing more writing. I could totally understand if this is something where she's like, nah, fuck this, I don't want to do it
Yeah.
anymore. I
Yeah.
hope she doesn't because I want
Yeah.
to see more.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
also, like,
She's
And
only young too. I think she was
yeah,
like 21 or something. So it's really,
come on,
it's
like
not,
21 years old is so young.
it is.
So young in the scheme of
Yeah.
things, when it
Yeah.
took us years probably to get our book out. And a lot of the people that I have met in the indie industry are probably, I would hazard a guess that you and I, being like 30, we're kind of on the younger side a little bit of
Yeah.
some of the
Yeah.
people that I've
It's like
been in
definitely in the
cahoots
middle.
with.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like still a bit fresh into it.
Yeah.
So the fact that she's 21 doing this
Yeah.
is incredible. And I also
Yeah.
heard like another sort of like a what do you call it? Like a figure of speech about how when you the feeling of like the compulsion to check your Goodreads reviews or things like that is sort of akin to, and a trigger warning to this, akin to self-harm because it
Mm.
feels like a sort of like a, you know that it's not really going to be good for you, but you feel a
You do it
compulsion.
anyway.
You do it
Mm.
anyway. And when I think I heard that in another podcast, and when I heard that, I was like, damn,
Yeah.
damn,
That's
it's profound, when you
it's
think
very
about it.
profound.
Yeah, so I definitely try to avoid going on to spaces. Or I think they were also talking about like checking comments on like their Instagram or things like that. Like nothing good ever really comes from it, even though you
Mm.
perhaps are feeling like it will be some sort of like, oh, it'd be nice to see some validation from it, but like it never really
Yeah.
ends up that way.
Yeah, well, the whole like thing around star ratings and what to tag
Mm.
authors in and stuff is very so is a sort of gray area because people have differing opinions.
Yeah.
But I think we can, yeah, all agree that like even a 4 star is a bit like, okay, well, what didn't you like about it then? Like to drop it down a
Real
star. So it's
talk.
sort of
Yeah,
it can get like that, and you can get in your head, and
absolutely.
depending on how neurotic you are,
Hmm.
and I am very neurotic,
Yeah, yeah,
it can just be yeah a bit too much. It just comes back to, it's your passion, it's your soul out there.
yeah,
And people are just like reading it and like ripping it to shreds as if it's nothing.
yeah.
And it can be really harmful,
It is
really
really
harmful.
harmful. It is so
So,
hard.
yeah. But one thing I have learned is absolutely don't look at your reviews. They're for readers, they're not for you.
No,
And they're allowed to have that opinion, even if you believe that it's wrong, even if like you read one and it's like that's not even what I meant or whatever.
yes.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. It
Doesn't
really
matter.
doesn't, though. It's
Yeah.
never going to stifle what your intent is anyway with the characters. As the author, you know what the characters are like, and it is your expression, your creative expression of
Yeah.
the world that you want to write.
Yeah.
And if people are on board with it, they're on board. If they're not,
Mm.
doesn't matter.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm on
It's
board.
just that it obviously wasn't meant for them, and that's fine.
That's right.
Um,
Plenty of books
it
out
just
there.
it is exactly.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, it's a very big hurdle to overcome. Um, but I
Just
think the
keep
main
doing it.
thing is not looking at those reviews, and that'll really help.
Yes. And do you have some other tips in around like setting boundaries for protecting your mental health in spaces where it can feel like a sort of in the firing zone of self-esteem on social media?
Yeah. Well, I think like a really natural thing that we do as humans is like comparing ourselves to others.
Yes.
So like I've seen a lot like especially on threads like those indie author transparency
Oh,
posts.
go
And
into
like
it. Yeah. Mm, I have thoughts.
they're awesome. They're
Hmm.
awesome. Like because it really does, it shows us like a gauge of where we're at and it shows us like what we can be and what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong. And these are all things that yeah, we really need to know.
Yep.
Um, but I have noticed
Hmm.
that it must be like on an almost subconscious level that they do affect me to the point where I feel like a failure. I feel like I'm not doing things right. And I think that that's an important boundary to set for yourself, whether you need to like blacklist those sorts of posts or whatever it is. But I think just pay attention to what your brain is doing. and what your emotions are doing when you're seeing posts like that and when you're seeing bad reviews about your book. Because I think like the natural thing to do is just to immediately bottle it up or block it out or go, it's fine, like whatever, it
I'm
doesn't affect me.
fine. Yeah.
And it does. Of course it
Yep.
does. So, I think, yeah, just pay attention to how you're actually feeling because I think I
Mm.
struggle a lot with depression and it's very up and down for me and I have depressive episodes like every couple of months and it fluctuates a lot. And I think when I'm in those episodes, it's so much worse. Like
Mm.
seeing stuff around self-publishing and around being an indie author and comparing myself to others because like a lot of the times I try not to, but it
Mm.
is a very like basic instinct to do it.
It's very
Um,
human.
it
Yeah.
is, and like it's gonna happen.
Yep.
It's just natural.
Hmm.
So a lot of the times I don't go on threads
Yeah.
when when I'm feeling
Screw
like that. Threads
friends.
is it is a
It's a
cesspool
threat.
sometimes. It is.
Threat.
So I think it's very much a work in progress.
Yeah.
And you don't have to get it right away because you won't.
No.
But you have to sort of gauge how you're feeling and how those posts make you feel.
Yep.
And then just go from there. But a lot of the times it's just backing yourself away from social media when you need to, which I know is extremely hard because that's where you're marketing. And
Yep.
like, yeah, but some days your mental health's just more important than marketing.
I
And
think
you
it should
need to
always
remember
be.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's your
Of
health.
course, it is.
It's
Like
your
I
health.
just said
Yeah.
some days, but no, it is every day.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh,
If you've got to step away and look after yourself, do it.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
it will always be there. It'll
yeah,
always,
exactly.
as much as it feels like a compulsion that marketing is something that you, it's for me, it's always in the back of my head thinking,
Yeah.
okay, what's the next post that I got to do? And then I have the other side of me that's like, nah, I just need to chill. Like I just
Yeah.
want to
Slow
live
down.
my life and
Yeah.
know that I will come back to it.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
yeah.
And I think the most important thing for
Mm,
me and what helps me the most,
mm.
and really just like gets my feet back on the ground because I really like to just like float up into the stratosphere. It's a very grounding sort of thought, and I really make sure that I try and think that when I feel myself slipping, is that I've been doing this since I was 13 years old, and I've written over 40 books, and it's only now that people are reading these works that I have crafted. And I am
Yeah.
having the experience that 13-year-old me was dreaming about. I'm
Yep.
living it right now.
Living it. You
I
are
am living
living the
it. And
dream.
yeah, it sucks sometimes. But like, so what? I
That's life.
literally have people reading my book. I literally have people DMing me going, "Oh my God, I loved your book," and "Oh my God, this scene."
Yeah.
I have an amazing editor who takes
Yes.
me on and
Laura.
shouts me out in her podcast, which I it literally like touches my heart, and I'm so awkward about it, but I do really genuinely
I know
appreciate it.
you do. I
I
know.
have like
Yeah.
your support,
I've
which again, I'm just like,
always,
ugh. Like,
always, you know me. I'm always like, what's Jess up to now? Hi, Jess. I got to tell you something about that's on my mind about
yeah.
whatever you've written.
No, of course. I genuinely adore it. I have a street team
You have a
of
straight
people.
team. Yeah.
They like me enough to be in my street team. Like, what?
How amazing is that? It is
That's
incredible.
crazy. So, like, there's
Yeah.
so many things that I am achieving that when I'm in a bad space and I'm comparing myself to others and I'm looking at my sales and I'm looking at my
Yeah.
page. Unfortunately, as always, and as is like human, that bad outweighs the good and it's
Yeah.
annoying and it's stupid, but it's just how your brain works.
Yep.
So I really try to be conscious about thinking about the good things because there are so
Yeah.
many
The
and they
gratitude.
really matter. They really matter.
It's very
So I
special.
think, yeah. And
Yeah.
I think we really need to drag yourself back down and
Yeah.
just go, look, like you have a book out for one.
You've written
You've
40,
written a fucking
not
book.
just
No,
one.
no, no, don't talk about me. No.
But still, like, if I have to hype you up, like 40 books, that is a dream. That is a dream
Yeah,
for me.
well, I
Yeah,
mean,
it's
they're not all
amazing.
published,
So,
obviously.
like, you've written them. And as someone
Yeah.
who is very slow at writing,
Yeah.
I look to that and I'm like, Jess has got it. She's just incredible to do that.
Oh, thank you
Sorry.
so much. It's a compulsive thing and
Yeah,
I don't really count it to anything.
but it's
But
your creativity.
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And it was my way to process. So that's why I have so many. Like it's not because I'm an incredible writer or, because
It
it's
doesn't
literally it
matter.
was just like that's what I did as I was growing up instead of like going to a therapist, I
Yeah.
wrote.
That's all that people can do
So,
sometimes with accessibility to mental health.
oh, absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
your creativity there, you're naturally drawn to that. And
Yeah.
that energy, that ability to be creative is so much more profound and rarer and special than what any opinions could ever tear down or
Yeah.
have any sort of sway in that. So I'm with you there. That feeling
Yeah,
of
for
like,
sure.
this is special what I do, and
Yeah,
I'm just going to do it.
it is.
Yeah.
And I think like even if you're just doing it for yourself, like
Yes.
that's enough.
That's enough. It's
That is
more than enough.
enough. Because
Yeah.
like there's so many people out there that aren't even brave enough, I guess, brave
Yeah.
is the word, to publish their book because they're like, I don't want it to get torn down. But
That's right.
you took that step and you published a book.
Very
And that's
vulnerable.
incredible.
And therefore, whatever happens, happens. I wish that people would have more appreciation for
Mm,
the creative ability to put your ideas into writing first of all, finish the
mm.
book, the dedication and the patience that it takes to finish a book, to edit it, to put it out. But in life, we cannot control people. That's
No,
fine with
exactly.
me. I don't want to. So whatever you put out there, it is it is very hard and very brave to be able to do that. So hats off to all the indie authors out there, including yourself, for doing that. That's wonderful advice that you've given, Jess. I think that I
Yeah.
will
Oh, thanks.
definitely take some of that on board. And I think that one thing that I will add to that too is to never, ever, ever care about the quantity or volume of
Mm,
likes, shares, comments,
mm.
whatever that you put out on your post, because my philosophy is always like, I liked it, so I'm leaving it out there.
Exactly.
And it
Exactly.
doesn't
Yeah.
mean shit about like
That's
the
perfect. I love it. I like it.
I
So,
liked it. I'm not offending anyone.
yeah.
If there was something that offended someone or, that kind of stuff, that's very different. And then that would be something
Yeah,
I
of
would take
course.
take stock of. But it's just like, yeah, of course there's times where you work on a cool reel, things like that, and you put it out there
Mm.
and you're like, oh yeah, 5 people have viewed it. Cool. Oh well, moving on, moving on, because it will live there.
Uh,
And then eventually, what I find is that content will be revisited and people might pick it up and go, oh, I like this kind of thing. So, but yeah, everything that you said there about looking after your mental health first is incredibly important, especially
mm.
in the indie author space that we have. And I would advocate that more and more people talk about it. And even just going back to the author vulnerability posts that we often see on threads, I do have a bit of a love-hate relationship with it because
Yeah.
personally, I feel that it's not to say that it's the same as people. I'm just trying to think of how I'm wording this. Like, when people talk about how you never disclose like your salary or things like
Yeah.
that, that you
Yeah, I know what you mean.
yeah, like it's not the same as that, but sometimes my thoughts are, if you are going to post here's what I made for the month, look how quote unquote shit I'm doing, I would just caution posting something like that, because you just never know how perhaps other people might perceive it. Look, it can be framed in ways that are more nuanced than what I'm
Yeah.
saying, but all I would suggest is when you are thinking that people will relate to how quote unquote poorly you are doing in this space, I would definitely re- take a step back and think about it before you post, because
Yeah.
your experience is probably going to be quite different to how other people are going with the sales and the marketing, and people keep that stuff under wraps and personal for a reason.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Yeah.
those are my thoughts.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. Because I
Yeah,
think like your bad might be someone's good, and
exactly.
that it's hard. And also like you don't want to pity market. Don't do that.
True. We don't want to do that. We don't want to say, like, woe is me. And I get it sometimes also. And I'm not going to shun people for talking about how their experience is, because I think there is merit to that. But
Mm.
I think just be cautious that you don't want to make someone inadvertently feel bad
Yeah.
for, you can't control how people feel. I
No,
get that.
exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, it's just
But when
something.
it's a
Yeah.
post like that, you have a bit more control on whether you're going to make someone feel bad or not. So
Yes. Yeah, you
I
hit the
think
nail on
you
the head
should
there.
definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
But
It's
it's a tricky one. It really is.
it is a tricky one. It is interesting to look at, but anyway, those things are a little bit more sensitive with that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. And I think money and finances are a sensitive sort of topic anyway.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
that kind of leads me on to perhaps the other thread post that I came across that I think I sent to you in our little
Hmm.
chats about someone talking about whether being self-published was worth it. So I will share my screen again, and it's a post on Threads by the user Author Tuesday, and there's two Y's, unless it's Y James. But it's a thread that reads as follows: Me being asked if self-publishing was worth it. Me. Let me put my thing down. Reading out like song lyrics here, and I'm like a old lady. Let my
Just a bit of
yes,
what's her name? Missy Elliott.
Missy Elliott. Just
Flip it
picture
and
her.
reverse it.
That's how you're meant to say it. Me. Let me put my thing down, flip it, reverse it, fight for my life in Microsoft Word, upload the wrong file 3 times, get roasted on Goodreads, spend $400 to make $42, then ascend to heaven when someone quotes my smut in their Bookster edits. So yeah, absolutely worth it. And there's a comment underneath that goes, screw Goodreads, your books are fire, 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 fire. So, and the author goes, thank you, I stay off there. Good choice.
Good idea.
So, your initial feeling, thoughts around that, Jess?
I see another comment that's like, wait, how did you only spend $400? And
Actually,
I want to ask the same question.
go.
But yeah, no, this is literally like the indie author experience. And I think that's probably why it got traction because everyone can relate to it and it's very funny. Um, it's pretty much that's it. Like the upload the wrong file 3 times is really funny. I recently just made the mistake of accidentally selecting white paper for Man of Bears instead of like the cream paper and pressed publish. And that means that I just wasted an ISBN and I will now forever have this ISBN out there for Man of Bears that isn't actually like available because I have to do it again. And I'm like, are you serious? Like
Sucks.
the slightest mistake can just like mean like the biggest like
Yeah.
blast radius. It's insane. Um,
Yeah.
so it is really funny because like you're going through like this awful like for some reason my brain's like compare it to you know that meme where it's like the Nicki Minaj like and
Yeah,
then
yeah,
it's like
yeah.
I'm spinning like a ballerina
Yep.
like
Yep.
literally the Nicki Minaj part like the is like you trying to like
Put everything
literally
else out.
do everything and like get your book out and then like the Sabrina Carpenter part
Yes.
it's
It's
literally like
just,
when you get someone commenting going your book was amazing I loved it or like oh my God this part was so good and that's the indie author experience right there like summed
that
up.
is, it's hectic and then it's bliss. And then it's just like, I'm going to, crawl into a ball just for a little bit
Yeah,
and protect myself.
it's like you get whiplash I swear
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
just from how fast these
Yep.
emotions like fling you but
Yeah.
yeah.
It's insane. It's insane. But it is so good when people say, when I've received comments or just like, even like family members, my mother-in-law, bless her, she was like, oh, I could see your book as a movie. And I was like, oh,
Yeah,
like those little comments, never forget how much those little comments can make such a big impact
they
in
do. They
the
really do.
because it really does make you feel like, God damn, you see what I'm trying to put out.
Yeah, exactly. It's nice.
It is really nice. But the point that you made about the monetary part as well, she only spent $400.
I
Yeah,
don't know
can
how that
I
happened, but sure.
yeah,
Yeah,
I know, right?
can I like
Yeah.
get some tips on how to only spend 400?
Because I hope that's in
Uh,
USD. It might be, but even
yeah,
still,
I would assume it probably is, but even then, 800 isn't,
it's not much, is
that's
it?
really not that much.
I'm telling you
So,
now, I spent more than that. And I
oh
don't
yeah.
regret it. I don't
No,
regret it.
neither.
You
Yeah.
just have to do what you have to do with the
Yeah,
editing and
that's
all that
it.
stuff. It's seriously worth it. But I think with all like, at the end of the day, we're running businesses. And you
Yeah.
always have, the year or two or three or four or five where you're in the red, where you're like, you make hack and then you don't, and then you all that kind of stuff. And like you all start in, you know, we're all in the red for a good lot of time before you start to maybe make profit or whatever.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what is it? It takes like 3 years for
Yeah.
a new business to make a profit. So
Yep.
like
That's
you need to
us.
sort of think about that. You need to sort of like put that into perspective and
You
consider
do.
yourself as a small business because that's what you are.
That's what you are.
And
Yeah.
it's just how, things work. So
That's
yeah.
it. That's
But
it.
I think like as well, when you're thinking of it that way, you need to make sure that you are actually offering people something. You need to offer something. Um,
Mm.
in your marketing. You need to actually, make people go, "Oh, I want this."
Yes.
And I think that's where like a lot of us really struggle to find out like what is it that people want? Because
Target
that's
audience
the
and
crux of
stuff.
it, Like, yeah.
Which I think you're doing a really good job from my perspective. And I will say
Thank
this
you.
because I love your aesthetics, and you also have, and I've said this before, but I'm going to say it again. It's so consistent. It's so consistent and relevant to the aesthetics that are in the book with the Irish folklore and I was going to say Celtic. Is Celtic a relevant
Yeah.
term? Yeah, like
Yes.
Celtic
Yeah.
aesthetics and
Yeah.
the images that are chosen for it are just perfect. And I think it does hit its target audience really well. I feel that personally, where I'm feeling maybe like not the pinch, but like the part that I don't know how to do, which is market young adult to the audience that is right for it. Because I know that
Yeah.
I'm in young adult versus
Yeah.
adult,
Yeah.
new adult.
Yeah. It is. It's hard.
If you don't mind, can we get a little bit into your Man of Bears
Mm,
and your writing if you're happy to jump into that sort of space?
of course.
Yay. Because I am really interested in a few kind of things around, particularly Man of Bears. So also shout
Hmm.
out, Man of Bears is releasing September 19th.
16.
16th, sorry.
Yeah. No, that's
September
okay.
16th, 2025. Mark it in your calendars. I have. It's there, ready to go, because this is the sequel to Woman of Wolves as part of the Arazgane
Yeah, Arrow's gain.
Arazgane
Yeah.
series. And there's four. There's going to be four.
There's
Is
gonna
that?
be four.
Yes. So
There
remember
may
two.
be five in the future.
Oh my goodness. Yes,
Yeah.
maybe five.
Maybe
Maybe
five.
five.
And it'll be like a decade after the end of four sort of thing. Yeah.
Jess,
Because
you heard it here
this
first.
is kind of literally just me not wanting to let go of my known
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that.
So we will see, but there is definitely a chance of there being five.
Oh my God. Okay, that's hot off the press, everyone. You may
Yeah.
have heard that there could be a fifth in the series, but
Hmm.
this series, in a nutshell, is a historical fiction that has a strong thread line of romance that does pull the two protagonists together in a scene, in a setting where there's a lot of high stakes combat and gruesomeness as well. It's
Yeah.
a lot of battling. It's a lot of like living out my fantasy of being a strong, badass bitch with a sword that maybe I've played certain characters on video games reminiscent of Myrna before. So if that's your vibe, you've got to get into it. And even if it's not your vibe, you've got to get into it because it's so good. So, my question for you, Jess, is how have you felt marketing book two versus book one?
Yeah, it's been a lot harder.
I
Um,
hear that.
which I wasn't sort of expecting.
Mm-hmm.
I had like a decent idea because I had seen sort of like talk around how hard it is to sort of like market book two after book one, and
Yep.
especially when you do have like a long series and it's not just like a duology.
Yes.
Um, because when I first started marketing Woman of Wolves, there was like it got like a decent amount of traction, especially like on threads. And so I was like, oh wow, like this is really cool. And then everything that I tried from Woman of Wolves that I am trying for Man of Best just isn't working.
Oh,
And I found that really
interesting.
interesting. Really interesting.
Mm.
So I, instead of going to threads, which literally I was getting like nothing,
Yep.
nothing, I went to
No.
TikTok and that was like a bit better.
Mm-hmm.
But TikTok requires consistency and it also it I don't think it like favorites Australian users. It's more I don't know, it's hard. TikTok's a really interesting one and I still don't even know how to use it properly.
Yes. I'm
So
just
I'm
getting there,
still
but I'm still
yeah,
like, oh yeah,
it's
whatever. Post
I
it.
know how to post a video and that's about it. Like
Yep. And
I
when I
don't
share it to
understand it.
stories, I'm like, I don't even know where it's gone.
Like
I
where's
can't even go and
going?
click on where the star. I don't know.
I know.
It's gone
I don't know.
somewhere. Okay.
Yeah. But I've always known the advice that, when you release a book, you forget about it and you start marketing your next book. Like that's how it works. Like that's what you have to do.
Yeah.
And instead of putting all your energy towards, the book that you've just released, you're putting your energy into the next book that you are going to release. So
Oof.
I tried to do that with Man
Yeah.
of Bears, but it just wasn't to, the point of what Woman of Wolves was. So I found that very interesting.
Hmm.
But I mean, like, it is what it is. And maybe I didn't put enough effort into it as I did Woman of Wolves because, I was sort of like, struggling with my depression, and
Hmm.
things came
Sure.
up.
Things come
But
up. It's you at the end of the day that has to do it. So if you're
yeah,
not
exactly.
physically able to, well, that's just what will happen. That's the reality of it. Do you think
Yeah.
part of it might have been hypothetically that it is book two of a series and not book one? Maybe as
Yeah,
simple as that.
I think so because
I
like
don't know.
and also like just like as I was trying to start marketing Man of Bears, I had obviously the first cover designer of Woman of Wolves, found out about them and I was like, I
Yes.
really don't want to support this company. So I
Yep.
had to get my cover changed.
Yes.
And so once again, I was instead of doing like what that advice tells you to focus on book two, I was again having to focus on book one
And that's
because I was
unique.
doing the new cover reveal. So it was a very interesting sort of situation that I was sort of like forced upon.
Yes.
So that very much I think interrupted the Man of Bears marketing.
Yep.
But like it is what it is. Like I got amazing
Oh,
covers and I don't,
I
that's
think
all
you're
that
doing an
matters.
amazing job. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely you are.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, but so yeah, it's definitely been very different and nowhere near as much as Woman of Wolves, but I really don't mind. Like it is what it is.
It doesn't feel like that, I will say, from an outsider. From my
Yeah, okay.
perspective, it definitely feels that it's all firing on all cylinders.
Yeah.
Here's Man of Bears, get hype for it. So
Yeah.
from the outsider, I know like we all will have our own knowledge about what the numbers look like and comparison and all that stuff, but my review is that, well, I'm super hype for it, but I'm hyped because of the aesthetics that I see for it. I'm just like, oh, new book, new book. Oh my God, here we go. Let's see. New
Mm.
artwork, new all this. So it's working on me.
Yeah,
And
that's good.
that's working on the target audience. And I think that's the important part where your book is going to be part of a series. People will, the thing about social media too is that it's going to live there on the internet. It's going to be there for a while, forever, rather.
Mm, mm,
So the stuff that you put out, as long as it's high quality, even if it doesn't matter about like the likes and whatever, the numbers, it's still living there. So that
yeah.
when, and I say when, people, the hordes, are going to come and like, pick it up and go, oh yes, I've seen that before. Yes, that's there. You've got your marketing there for the purpose of it being like long term rather than like a
Mm,
short term sort of like buzz kind of thing. And that's hard to do in a world where short form short form marketing seems to be short form videos seem to be the preferred choice for a lot of people
yeah.
out there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, thank you. I
great.
am still very much just winging it.
We are all winging it. We're just no worries. But I'll have to put this on
Mm.
the screen as well. I have to do like a screen recording to have a look at because I'm looking at your Instagram now. I'm being a stalker. The aesthetics that I see just match so perfectly to the book itself and your interactions with the fans that have drawn you some fan art as well is so wonderful to have that there. Like the one of is it Tor?
Yeah, the one
Tor?
I've tore. Yeah,
Yes.
I donated money to to feed Palestine
Yeah.
because I'm obviously
Yep.
who isn't a big supporter of like freeing Palestine.
Yep.
So yeah,
Absolutely.
Mia Joan Art was doing a fundraiser and she was pretty much like, I'll draw you a sketch if you donate money. And I was just like, I was already planning on commissioning her anyway, and I was
Yeah.
just like, oh, and like I donated, and I was like about to message her and be like, I don't even worry about drawing me anything, just like I just
Take my
wanted to
money.
donate.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but then
Yeah.
she was just like, oh, what do you want me to draw? And I was just like, oh, and I was like, just draw
I got
Tor, and I like sent her
something.
like a couple of yeah.
I got something for you.
And I thought it was awesome, and then I commissioned her anyway, so that's
Yes,
my
you
the latest art.
the latest art, which I'm going to pop up on the screen for me to reference as well, which is Myrna and Reagan looking super fierce. And
Yeah.
Myrna is wearing her wonderful green tunic dress with the braces as well, with a bit of fur, looking
Hmm.
like the bad bitch that she is. And we've got Regan in the back with the big sword, and he's wearing a brown tunic outfit, and he is standing behind her, also looking fierce, like, don't mess with us. So, again, for people that are interested in historical fiction with a strong romantic plot through line, check out this image, and then check out Woman of Wolves, and then mark your calendars for the pre-order. Oh, it is pre-orders are available, aren't they? For
Pre-orders are available, yeah,
yes.
on
Yeah.
just for the ebook on
The ebook.
Amazon.
So I think I am
Mm.
about, I wonder if it will tell me on because I'm reading it on my phone. It will tell me my percentage of how far I'm at. Eh, 82. I'm on
Oh my
82%.
God, you're almost finished. So where are they? So they would be in Brisbane, wouldn't they?
Yes, and I think they're about to leave.
Yeah.
They're about to get on the boat back
Oh,
home.
okay, yeah. So Myrna's just given Regan an eyeful in the
That's
waves.
yes, getting into a bit of like some spice. One of my favorite kind of things, because you're a big slow burn fan. Me too.
Hmm.
I love when scenes are a little bit more of like a not as of course there is a place for the explicit stuff, but when it's a bit more toned down and cheeky, I find that even more like compelling in a way.
Yeah.
Just like that
Yeah.
meme that's been circling around with like Kris Jenner sitting in bed with her phone reading like, yeah, reading the smart because it does feel like a bit formulaic in that point. I don't know. I don't know. But then there's the other part of it where, your two characters hold hands and then you're like sobbing.
Yeah, you're like, oh my God. Yeah, for sure. I think when you're like a fan of that, it makes you, and like you're as a reader, as a
Yeah.
writer, it makes you like inclined to write scenes like that, if that makes sense.
Yes.
'Cause you're just like, because you know the feeling that a reader gets when they're reading a slow burn that like offers little teasers every now and then. So you're just like, I need to write one. Um, so
Yes.
yeah, that scene was actually a new addition into
Ah,
yeah. So I there was a few things that I like added as I was self-editing. And yeah, that was one of them
yeah.
because we had the banter that they have before that when he's healing her. That was already there.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always really, really liked that scene.
Mm.
Because it's just I think it's a big moment for the both of them,
Yep.
especially for Myrna, because it
Mm.
makes her realize how much, she cares about him.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wanted to add that little bit of a tidbit at the end in the waves while she's bathing, just so I
Yep.
don't know. I feel yeah.
It makes sense for it to be there because I think it was something that it's like usually and yes, we are going into some explicit territory here, listeners, just so you know. Usually the first time that characters will see each other naked is like a big thing, and usually it will
Yeah.
be just before some spice happens. But I've
Hmm.
always been a bit of a fan of like, why not do something that's a bit more like I don't know, like freeing and sort of raw without it being straight into sex. It's
Yeah.
still like sexy without it being explicit. I don't know.
Yes.
I like that kind of stuff. And it did remind me of a scene, and I won't go into it too much, but in Still Waters Run Deep, there is actually a similar scene.
Is there? Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Love that.
So it's in chapter 20, if anyone wants to have a look at
People
that.
rushing to read it.
But well,
Mm.
for because I do write in, Still Waters Run Deep is young adult, there was
Yeah.
a part of me that was like, how am I going to express sort of an intimate scene without it being explicit for the
Hmm.
audience that I'm writing to? So
Hmm.
being naked is like, it, I feel like I'm talking like, it's freeing. It's sort
Yeah.
of without it being so explicit because they're just the characters are just standing there. It's not like anything sexual is necessarily being performed, but
Yeah.
it's just the body.
And
Yeah,
I think like in this specific scene for Myrna, it's because she's such an empowered woman.
yeah,
It was her choice to show him, and I think like her doing it was her letting go, and it's the first time that she does.
yeah,
And it's showing him like I'm ready to step into this territory, or at least I think I am, and I
yeah.
want to. Yeah,
And it's
maybe
not
not ready, but
rushed.
she wants to.
It's like a
And yeah,
permission.
so it's yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah. So it was I'm really glad I added it because it was for obviously the events that follow. It
yeah. You
it
can't
it
tell
was
me
needed.
anymore,
Yeah,
but
no.
yes. But it is
Yes.
important, I think, for what you just said there with female empowerment,
Mm.
being a little bit more assertive in that sense, while you write Regan, who is still so respectful.
Yeah.
And I think the way that you've written Regan and Myrna themselves, they're so, I'll talk about their romance and their connection is so respectful, but is so
Mm.
like relevant as well to their innate characters as well, because
Mm.
it's not like Myrna's going to be. I just love reading stories about women that aren't like demure or perfect or that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. It's like, yeah, they're
Yeah.
gonna say what's on their mind and like deal
Yeah.
with it because men have always been written that way. So you
Exactly.
don't have to
Yeah.
love it, but yeah.
It is a very like hot topic and it probably deserves its own podcast episode, but
Mm,
I think when
mm.
people have issue with women being like that in books, I see it as internalized misogyny.
Yep, absolutely.
So,
It is.
take that what you will,
It
but
is. It is because the way that certain characters, I don't know, this would be something that we'll have to dive into another episode. But I think if you are criticizing, when you have criticisms about a female character for being too harsh or too rough or too angry, I think we've
Mm.
got to look at that and go, would my criticisms also apply if that woman was, that character was male?
Yeah, exactly.
Or would it be justified? Or would it be
Yeah.
easier to justify why they do that kind of thing? But
Yeah.
the romance that you've written with Regan and Myrna, it really did, it really was fitting that Myrna kind of is initiating and taking those first steps to
Mm.
show how far she wants to go and let Regan decide what happens next in that regards. But I know what you're
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm thinking about book three and what happens then.
Yeah, you're already in book three.
Yeah, well, I mean, technically book four, but I'm like 82,000 words into book four. I'm
Wow. Are you kidding?
almost finished.
Holy
Yeah,
shit.
I know it's scary.
It's incredible. We are going to see the
Uh,
end of well, I shouldn't say the end of the series sooner than we expect because there's potentially book five.
Potentially book five. But yeah, I'm hoping to have everything published by well, I've got book four booked in with Laura in April next year.
Oh,
So book three is booked in for November, Laura. So I'm hoping to publish like January, February, which is probably a really bad time because that's
right.
all the traditional publishers' publishing dates, but oh well.
Doesn't matter because this is going to be good because you and I are at the February book fair.
Yeah,
Book fair.
Book Fair Australia.
So you might have it
Really
ready
cool
for
to have th the three of them
the
for that.
trilogy. Get the bundle.
Yeah.
The bundle deal. This could be so good. I think you've got a good. What I really appreciate is you have a good timeline for getting the books out in a really good amount of time because
Yeah,
yeah, it's just so
it's
good to see them bang,
I
bang,
was
bang.
lucky that way because they had already been written.
Yeah, yeah,
So I finished book three at the start of this year, I think.
yeah,
Or was it last year?
nice.
I can't even remember
Yeah, it
anymore.
blurs
It's
into
this
one.
year's gone so crazy.
Yep,
But the it was pretty much already written and I just hadn't finished the end because and like I wrote book three, I think in 2018,
yeah,
2017.
right. Yeah,
So I wrote
nice.
the first three books or three two and a half. No, almost. It was pretty much almost three.
Yeah,
Within like 2 years.
yep.
And then that was back in 2016 to 2018. And then I
Yeah.
left it for so long
Let it sit. Let
because
it
I
sit.
was like, I didn't know where it was going
Yep.
until only recently. So I ended up finishing book three because I was like, oh, I
Got
get
it.
it. I know what's happening. And then
Yay.
I started book four. And yeah, so that's sort of like how it worked. So I think yeah, I was pretty fortunate because they had already been written
Yeah,
and they just needed, heavy editing, but that was fine.
that's fine.
So yeah, that's why I can release them in a pretty like short amount of time.
That's great.
So I do have the benefit there, but I feel like don't base my release dates off if have a series that isn't finished or whatever, because that's not a fair thing to do. Don't I'm not someone that you should be
No.
comparing to because I'd already written them. So yeah, but
But as a fan, it's awesome.
yeah. Yeah, look, I'm glad that I can like get it to people quick.
Exactly.
Because like a lot of people are like, "Oh my God,
Where's the
give it to
next
me."
one? Where's book
Yeah.
two?
I'm
Where's
pretty
this?
generous though, because like if you come into my DMs and you're like, "Oh my God, like I absolutely loved, Man of Bears or whatever." That's how I got a few of like my beta readers. I was sort of just like, "Oh, well, I am currently, looking for beta readers. So if you want."
If you want it,
I send
why
it to
not?
them and they're just like, "Oh my God, yeah."
Hell
So,
yeah.
yeah, but it's all it takes,
Yeah.
really. If
Yeah.
you're nice to an indie author, you might get something nice.
Yes, that is so true. And I will attest to that. Like, not only yourself, but there are so many indie authors in this community that are more than happy to have a chat about anything
Yeah,
and are more
absolutely.
than happy to give advice or, just help you out in any sort of way. And that is a big testament to the community that we have here, that
Yeah.
we are always going to be supportive. We're always going to be helping each other out. I know you and I in particular, if anyone comes into our DMs, we will help in whatever way that we can whenever we
Yeah.
get back online.
Yeah.
That's the other thing too, where it's like I gotta step
Uh,
away sometimes. But yeah, no, you're very generous with your fan base, and I very much appreciate it. So this is so exciting that we could have books 1 to 4 by middle next year,
mm,
maybe.
yeah,
How cool is that?
easily.
Have you
Yeah.
thought about the titles for 3 and
Yeah,
4
they
yet?
yeah. They all have titles. They've had titles for a while now.
Oh, this is old
Yeah.
news.
Because I think like no, I think so it would have been like what last year, like November, December when I was thinking about publishing Woman of Wolves.
Yeah,
It didn't have a title then, so I was thinking about titles and I'm going, okay, what do I do? And Woman of Wolves sort of like came up and I was like, okay,
yeah,
yep. And then I was thinking about, okay, well, I know that there's going to be 4 books, so I might as well just like think about the rest of the titles now. And
yep,
seeing as I already had 3 books written at that point. And yeah, so I was like, okay, Man of Bears is next. That makes sense. It's about
yep.
Regan. We get to know about him a bit more.
Yes.
You know, it works. And then yeah, book 3, I knew what that was going to be because you will see, I guess. And then book 4 again, like I had a pretty good understanding on what was going to happen and who it was going to be named after.
Ooh,
Yeah, and I
who?
already have ideas
Mm.
on like what's going to be on the cover. So yeah, I'm really excited for oh my God, book three's cover because it's the color scheme is like my favorite color and it has a weapon on it that is very important to the story.
Oh, okay, okay. Nice, nice.
And the animal that's featured on the cover is one of my favorite animals.
Oh, it's an
So yeah,
animal.
so
Oh,
the
yes.
theme is animals.
They're going to all be
Um,
animals of something.
yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right, book
So,
3 is a fave.
so
Okay,
yeah, I'm excited. And I'm currently getting beta reader feedback for book 3 and it's been
yep.
very good because it's it was really funny because when I was self-editing Man of Bears, I was like, yeah, this one's my favorite. I really like it. And then
Yeah.
started self-editing book 3 for beta readers and I was like, never mind. This is my favorite.
Ah,
Book 3
that's
is I'm very proud of book 3. Book 3 is very good.
Oh, I'm so excited for it. Oh, it's just going to be so satisfying to see the next episode of where this is going. And also to have, like, at this point, you will have after Men of Bears, it will be a trilogy. And then after
Yeah.
your fourth, like, you'll have, like, such a big set. And I am so excited to also purchase the new covers of Woman of Wolves. I mean, I still have my Woman of Wolves copy up there, but
Yeah.
I'm guessing you will do like a little bundle deal or something like that,
I
maybe,
definitely will for
or
events.
yeah, for
Yeah.
events. Yeah, so
Yeah.
cool. So we've got
Yeah.
that coming up. And then speaking of which, for events, are you going to be anywhere in person for the rest of 2025 or is it starting 2026?
Yeah, no, unfortunately, I won't be just because I'm pretty bad. I'm pretty bad at I like
Finding
knowing
them?
what's happening.
Yes, me too.
Yeah.
I feel like we
I'm
need a
like,
group
how?
or something to like,
Yeah.
by the way, this
Go
is an
like,
event.
yeah. I
Yeah,
need
no,
like an
we need to do
alert
that.
on what's happening in Victoria or something. Because yeah,
Yeah,
I genuinely like I'll see an event happening. I'm like, oh, cool. I wish I'd known
knew
about that because
about
I would have
this.
signed up.
I
But
know.
next year, February, I will be in Melbourne at Book Fair Australia. I did go to their first one in Sydney and it was very fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, and me and you will be sharing a table. So
We're
it's gonna
sharing
be
a
very fun.
table. And I
It's
think
gonna be very fun. I'm
we're
very excited.
sharing a table, I think, in Bendigo as well, is that right? For the
Oh yeah, we might be
secret
actually.
pages. So we'll see you more in 2026, and you're going to be
Hmm.
at Book Fair Australia with me.
Yes. Yes.
And then is there anything between um
That and secrets.
secrets? Yes.
Yeah, there may be because I think I've signed up
Oh,
for like a couple. Like I've filled out like an expression of interest. So maybe.
cool.
But it'll just sort of yeah, depend.
Just
Um,
depends.
but
Depends on
yeah,
everything.
yeah. But hopefully, I don't know. I'll see what happens, but
See what happens. But there's
yeah.
exciting things coming up in your world. So,
There is.
yeah, it's just a lot,
There
isn't it?
is. It is a lot. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
just it's been very up and down lately, but
Yeah.
in the book world it's going pretty steady and pretty good, so
I'm
that's
really
at least
glad to hear
okay.
that. I'm really glad to hear that, Jess, because I can tell that it's just going so, so well for you. From an outsider, I always look to you to go, how's Jess doing her marketing? Oh, she's killing it. And I always feel like it's like I wouldn't change my brain for anything to at least have the ability to think of stories, create,
Mm,
and get it out there. That's
yeah.
always a blessing, I feel. So
Yeah. Mm.
I want to say a massive, massive thank you, Jess, for all that you do and all that you share because you are so generous with your thoughts and so generous with your content. And you continue to be a creative force in the indie author world, in my opinion, and many others. So thank you for being on the
Oh,
show.
thank you. Thanks for having me. It's been very fun.
I'm so glad.